Hello guys, Tinofara Mutovongi here. I'm the founder of IXA Academy, a school which operates in Harare, and we've got hundreds of students that learn real-life practical skills from here. I'm doing this mentorship and training session that I'm bringing to you guys so that you can learn a few things that I've learned about business. Today I'm going to talk about how people in Zimbabwe get poor doing the right things. Like in life, I always tell people that if you really try and you really push, you will never be poor. You can escape poverty if you try. You can never see a man who tries and puts all his effort and puts everything on the line fail. But then people are given examples, like they have given examples of people you know they've done the right thing, they do all the good things, but they're still poor. So I'm going to explain how that happens. You can get poor doing all the right things. And here's how you do it. I'm going to give you a sequence of the steps that people take. So what you do is you finish school. Let's say you finish university or whatever you do. You finish school, tertiary institution or whatever. You start working, you start making money. And immediately you start doing the right things. If you do these right things in this sequence, your chances of dying poor or just having a mediocre life are very high. This is what people do. You finish school, right? After finishing school, you go to work. Once you start making some money, you start looking after your family. So you take charge of all the family needs. If it's rent, if it's food, if it's whatever bills that need to be paid at home, siblings that need to be paid school fees for, you start doing that. Which others call black tax. You start covering for all the black tax. You pay your black tax, faithfully. You're already on the first step for you to become poor. And I'll explain how you can avoid this so that you don't get this trap. But then what happens is this. Once you start making a bit more money, you buy a car, you save and you buy a car. Or if you're a dealer, you do a deal, you make a significant amount of money, you buy a car. It's a good thing. What's wrong with the car? You need to move. Everyone in your family is happy. Your friends now value you better. They call you much more. The girls like it. They they respond to your text messages now. They're even texting you first because you have a car. You are on the right path, it seems. Then after you buy a car, the girls that were texting you, you find the right girl. Then you go and you pay lobola. Makanda Pakistan comrade. You're doing the right thing, aren't you? Mwana abereke mwana version mwana wedu haendi pasina mchato. You throw in a what? A good wedding, right? You from the wedding you go to the honeymoon. There's a baby on the way. There's a baby on the way. You now have a child. Now that you have a child, you need to buy proper household furniture. I'm not a property. Someone said that if you call household furniture property, you have a poverty mindset, but let's leave that aside. You buy property, then you buy what? Furniture. Matingam beda, king size or queen size, whatever, nice wardrobe, big TV, 55 inch and above, all the right things. You're following the right steps. Then from there, once you're at the stage, Pakudaka stand. So the next big amount of money or the next thing that you're saving for is a stand. From there, you need to build. But all this while our baby has been growing. You need to pay fees. And second baby is coming. So then what you see is this. But this time you have second, third, fourth baby. This is now 15, 20 years later. What do you then realize is this? You then look back at your life and you have got those kids. Yeah, probably they're going to like, I don't know, entry level schools. You have not achieved your goals, you have not achieved the end of your dream. And you wonder, where did I go wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. I went to school, I went to work, I lived just for my family. The first thing I did, I bought a car, I paid lobola, I had a wedding, I'm faithful with my wife, I look after my kids, I look after everyone. I go to church, I contribute to the house of God, everything. You don't see anything that you did wrong. But actually, this is how most people remain poor and never be able to build wealth in Zimbabwe. Because in as much as all these things look good, they are going to stop you from building wealth. I'll tell you what I did. So firstly, when I started going to work and started make money, I did not start looking after my family. They continued living the same life that they were living. Not that it was a good life. It was tough. It was hard. I was not paying school fees for anyone. I was not helping anybody with anything. I was not paying groceries for anyone. Because if you don't, if you start doing this, you're going to suffocate yourself. And you're going to sink, all of you, you and your whole family. You're going to sink. You're all going to remain under the same condition that you grew up in. Because you're taking all the money. So what I then did is, all the money that I started getting from work, I used it as capital to start my businesses. I started so many small little ventures. Most of them failed, probably one succeeded. But I was doing this because I wanted a lasting solution to the case of poverty that we had in our family. So I don't start looking for this. So if you're going to a government school, you continue going to a government school. If you had a uniform that is torn, you continue that. But because I was building capital and I was developing myself, because you cannot save yourself, you cannot serve others until you serve yourself first. You know, that thing that they say when you get on an aeroplane, that if there's any emergency case, you put your oxygen mask first before you're helping other people. That's what I did. I put on the oxygen mask on myself first before putting it on other people. So it may seem like it's brutal or it's hard or anything like that, but that's what you need to do. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Because if you're singing and you're saving other singing people, you're going to become just a bunch of singing people, and you all sing and you all die. So this is how most people remain poor. Then when it comes to buying a car, this mistake I made this mistake. I used to love nice cars. I still love nice cars even up to now. But I've got a lot of discipline. And that's what you buy a nice car. And I bought a nice car, a BMW. And I had an accident with that car right off within the first 6 months. It was not even insured. So this is another mistake that people make. Don't make this kind of a mistake, of just buying a car quickly. Let's put that money back to capital. Strengthen your base before you start doing things like buying a car. Paying lobola, guys. It seems like there's a pandemic. People can't stay single. People can't live on their own. Once someone reaches the age of 25, they're under the pressure to marry. The girl is giving them pressure. Shagatoba. Like it's undoable. Then you raise money to go and pay lobola. That money, if you take whatever, let's say you pay $5,000 in lobola today. If you invest this money in a business and you're a smart person who knows what they're doing, this money could be easily $50,000 in the next 3 years. It could be $50,000, right? You could be making from an investment of $5,000 today. In the next 3 years, if you're smart and you know what you're doing, you could be making $50,000 per year, right? From just that. So my lobola no wedding is. I heard that some weddings are profitable. So if you know you've got relatives that will give gifts and stuff, maybe you do the wedding thing, and you can retain your investment in the wedding, and you have a good jump start. But you have to be very careful, because most people, they end up in debts, and they're sinking in debts. They even end up destroying the marriage because of the debts from the wedding. And it's not a bad thing, right? They're doing good things, and you're becoming poor over time doing bad things. Then there's a baby in the picture. From the day that your wife gets pregnant, your expenses are going to start increasing exponentially for the next 25 years. And in Zimbabwe, sometimes it's for the next 40 years, because we're not 40 and jobless. And so from the day you say that your wife says I'm pregnant, or your girlfriend says I'm pregnant, until the next 25 years, until that kid finishes university and their own job, expenses are increasing. Now when the baby comes, if you have to go and register at a clinic or at a hospital, You have to pay gynecologists if you have to. You have to buy clothes for preparation of the baby. You need to buy them, onesies, whatever, diapers are coming, food is coming, right? All of a sudden, the one room that you are staying in, you see that we can no longer save the child in here. And they bring you nothing after all. But we have to live in a bigger place. We have more kids. This is what happens. I'm not saying kids are bad, but you need to plan it very, very well. I know there are stories of people say, this child brought me blessings. When I had the child, I started making so much more money. It's true. It has happened to some people. It doesn't happen to everyone. It's not a repeatable formula because everyone's kids could have been rich if that's what's true. So let's not talk about things that are coincidental. You want to have formulas that work. So this is what happens. So you keep paying fees. Now you're buying a stand. I see. And you may die broke. You may look at your life and say, I have not done any fulfilling. There is no holiday. If your life goes in this way, if nothing of significance, where you may just make a lot of money somewhere or something crazy happens in your life, you're not going to make money. You're not going to have life to enjoy. You're not going to be able to retire and you just enjoy your life. You're not going to travel. You're not going to, so many things are not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do things that you love as a person. And you die. But actually some of you may actually say this is better because most people never get to achieve this. Most people, they buy a car while they pay the bill and that's it. They stop making money. Things change. Life happens to them and things changes dramatically. And then poverty for the next you never know, right? For until they die. So that's what happens. Some just get to be able to buy a stand, and at some point, you're having to sell it because they have not done the right thing. So, what I say is, what you need to do, once you start working and start making money, you have a business, whatever, start investing in something that sustain you. Once that thing is sustainable, then you can now do all these things, all these good things. You can buy a car, you can pay the bola, you can have a wedding, you can have children, you can buy household furniture, you can buy a estate, you can buy a house from the profits of the investment that you have made. So this is what so many young people miss. And then they spend the money that they get. You don't spend the money you get, you spend the fruits of the investment you have made. So if you're earning a salary or if you're starting a business, if you're earning a salary, take that money, invest it somewhere, whether it's a business you want to do or something there. Now you're even investing in other things, in the national stocks, even cryptocurrencies, if you're careful and you understand about it, right? Or even in knowledge, you can invest in getting a master's degree. If that's the path that you said, you want to say, I want to rise through the corporate ladder. You invest yourself, get a master's degree, get a PhD, whatever, get professional courses that edify whatever you're doing, right? Get connections, go to international conferences where you gain international connections that can help you in the future to advance your career. If it's a business, reinvest in that business. If it's something that you need to buy equipment, buy equipment. You need a nice office, get a nice office. You need a nice furniture at the office, do that. Invest in the thing that is going to give you money, that is going to do all these things for you. So that's what you need to do. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you may remain within the cycle of poverty. And unfortunately, most people say that. So guys, I hope this brings you a lot of value. Thank you so much for watching.
That's perfect.